The text message from Mark came at 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Just one photo, blurry but unmistakable. My wife Isla, wearing the blue sundress I bought her for our anniversary, locked in a passionate kiss with her personal trainer at some beachside bar. The timestamp showed it was taken less than an hour ago. I'm Sergio, and until that moment, I thought I had a pretty good handle on my life. Successful architect, beautiful wife of 8 years, and a restored beach house that had been in my family for generations. The same beach house where Isla was supposedly on her solo spiritual retreat to find herself. My hands trembled as I called Mark. He picked up on the first ring. I'm so sorry, man. I was down here meeting a client when I saw them. They didn't notice me. They've been here for hours, all over each other. You're sure it's them? My voice sounded hollow, even to myself. It's them. They just left together. Headed toward your family's place. I hung up and walked to the key shelf in our kitchen. The spare key to the beach house was gone. Of course it was. She'd asked to borrow it last week, saying she needed time alone to reconnect with her soul or whatever bullshit she'd fed me. The signs had been there for months. Late-night gym sessions, new lingerie she never wore around me. The way she'd mentioned Trevor's name in casual conversation, testing the waters. I'd ignored it all, trusting her, believing in us. My phone buzzed. A text from Isla. Missing you. This retreat is exactly what I needed. So much clarity coming through. Can't wait to share everything when I'm back. Thunder rumbled outside as I grabbed my keys and laptop. I called Elena, my family's longtime lawyer and friend. Elena, I need you to draw up divorce papers right now. Sergio, what's happening? Isla's cheating at my family's beach house with her trainer. A pause. I'll have them ready in an hour. Come by my office. And Sergio, don't do anything stupid. I won't. This needs to be perfect. I packed a small bag, including the prenup we'd signed 8 years ago. Elena had insisted on it, saying you never know. She was right. Rain started falling as I pulled out of our driveway. 2 hours to the beach house, 2 hours to plan exactly how this would play out. My phone kept buzzing. More messages from Isla. The ocean is so peaceful today. Found this amazing little meditation spot. Love you. Each lie felt like a knife twisting deeper. But I stayed quiet. Let her build her house of cards. The storm intensified as I drove, matching my mood perfectly. I called the local security company we used for the beach house. This is Sergio Wagner. I need 2 officers at my property in about 2 hours. There are intruders. Of course, Mr. Wagner, we'll have someone there. The rain was coming down in sheets now. Lightning cracked across the sky as I gripped the steering wheel tighter. 8 years of marriage, countless memories, all poisoned by what I was about to witness. But I needed to see it. Needed to face the truth head on. No more ignoring signs, no more making excuses. The beach house had been my sanctuary since childhood, the place where my father taught me about integrity and self-respect. Now Isla had turned it into her love nest. I checked my phone one last time. Elena had sent the divorce papers. They're ready. Be smart, be calm, make her sign. The storm raged on as I drove toward the coast, toward the confrontation that would end my marriage. But this wasn't going to be a screaming match or a violent showdown. No, this would be something much worse. This would be justice. The patio door was unlocked when I arrived. Music drifted from inside, some generic pop playlist that Isla always claimed to hate. Funny how preferences change when you're trying to impress someone younger. 2 security officers waited quietly in their car, as instructed. I'd texted them to stay back until I gave the signal. The rain had settled into a light drizzle, but thunder still growled in the distance. I stepped inside, my shoes silent on the hardwood floors my father and I had restored together. Their laughter echoed from the kitchen. My kitchen. Our voices carried clearly through the open layout. Baby, pour me another. Isla's voice playful and flirtatious, a tone I hadn't heard in months. Only if you earn it, Trevor replied, followed by the sound of kissing. I rounded the corner. They were wrapped around each other by the granite island. Trevor shirtless, Isla in that blue sundress. Empty wine bottles littered the counter. My father's vintage collection, probably. Don't let me interrupt, I said quietly. They jumped apart. Isla's face went ghost white. Trevor, to his credit, didn't try to run. He just smirked and reached for his shirt. Sergio! Isla's voice cracked. This isn't... I can explain... Save it. I pulled out my phone and pressed a button. Security's here. You have 5 minutes to gather your things. Security? Trevor scoffed. This is private property, man. You can't... Actually, I can. This house belongs solely to me. Check the deed. You're both trespassing. Isla stepped forward, tears already flowing. Please, baby, let's talk about this. I was confused, lost. Trevor means nothing. 4 minutes now. I placed the manila envelope from Elena on the counter. Divorce papers, already signed by me. Your turn. Trevor laughed. You brought divorce papers? Dramatic much? I turned to him. You know what's dramatic? Using your position as a trainer to seduce married women. Does your gym know about your pattern? They will. That wiped the smirk off his face. Sergio, please. Hila sobbed, grabbing my arm. 8 years? You can't throw it away like this. I gently removed her hand. You threw it away. Every time you lied. Every time you brought him here, and to my family's home. Our home, she screamed. Check the deed, I repeated. My father never added you. Helena made sure of that. 2 security officers appeared at the patio door. Right on time. Mr. Wagner? One called. Should we escort them out? Yes, after she signs. Isla's mascara ran down her cheeks as she stared at the papers. You planned this. You knew. Mark saw you today. Sent me a photo. But honestly, I've known something was wrong for months. I just trusted you too much to believe it. Trevor grabbed his gym bag. This is nuts. I'm out. Call me later, babe. She won't be calling anyone, I said. Her phone's still on my plan. That ends today, too. Isla's hands shook as she picked up the pen. You're making a mistake. We can fix this? Sign. She did, her signature wobbly but legible. The security officer stepped forward. Ma'am, sir, please come with us. I watched as they escorted Isla and Trevor out into the drizzling rain. Isla turned back once, mascara-stained face begging for mercy. I closed the door. Standing alone in my family's beach house, I pulled out my phone and texted Elena. It's done. She signed. Then I walked to the wine rack and counted the empty bottles. 6 of my father's finest wines gone. I added it to my mental list of damages. The storm outside was passing, but mine was just beginning. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, memories flooded back, each one tainted with new meaning. I sat in my home office, scrolling through photos on my laptop, piecing together a timeline of lies. Mark called around midnight. You holding up? Just connecting dots, I said, clicking through a folder from last month's charity gala. Remember when Isla couldn't make it because she was sick? Yeah? Look what Trevor posted that night. I forwarded him the Instagram screenshot. Trevor at the gym, Isla visible in the background mirror, both in workout gear. Timestamp, 9:47 p.m. Jesus, Mark muttered. How long do you think? I'm heading to Elena's office first thing tomorrow. Need to know exactly what I'm dealing with. Sleep never came. At 8 a.m. sharp, I was sitting across from Elena in her downtown office. She looked concerned as she reviewed my evidence folder. The charity gala photos are particularly damning, she said, spreading them across her desk. Shows premeditation, pattern of deception. What else do I need? Elena leaned back. There's something you should know. When we drafted your prenup, I included a morality clause. Infidelity nullifies any claim to family property. The beach house was never in danger? No, but there's more. She pulled out a thick file. I did some digging last night. Isla's had 3 separate gym memberships in the past year, all at places where Trevor worked. My stomach turned. She followed him. And that's not all. Remember that charity foundation she started managing last year? I nodded. The one she'd been so passionate about, spending late nights organizing events. Elena slid over a bank statement. The foundation's legitimate, but look at the expense accounts. My eyes scanned the numbers. Multiple payments to TD Fitness Consulting. Trevor Dean, I whispered. She was paying him with charity money? Technically, they listed him as a wellness consultant for charity events, but the payments continued even when there were no events scheduled. The betrayal deepened with every revelation. My phone buzzed. A text from Isla. Please talk to me. You're making a horrible mistake. Elena watched me read it. Don't respond. Everything goes through me now, but Sergio? There's something else you should know. She pulled up a social media page. Your wife's coworker Zoe reached out to me this morning. She has information you need to hear. The page showed photos from before our marriage. Isla with another man. The caption mentioned their engagement. That's Richard, I said. Her ex-fiancé. She told me they grew apart. Zoe tells a different story. Apparently, history repeats itself. My phone buzzed again, this time from an unknown number. Hey man, Trevor here. Let's talk this out like adults. Isla's a mess. I showed Elena the message. She immediately started typing on her computer. Perfect. That's harassment. We can add it to the file. She looked up at me. Sergio, I know you're hurting, but we need to be strategic. The more we uncover, the stronger our position. What's next? We freeze joint accounts, document everything, and she smiled grimly. We let them dig their own graves. People like this always get sloppy when they're desperate. I stood up feeling more centered than I had since seeing that first photo. Set up a meeting with Zoe. I want to hear everything. And Sergio? Elena called as I reached the door. Check your home security cameras, the ones in your home office. They back up to the cloud automatically. Might be worth reviewing the footage from when you were working late. My heart sank. The office where Isla insisted on organizing charity work late at night. Sometimes the worst betrayals are the ones hiding in plain sight. Zoe met me at a quiet coffee shop downtown, nervously fidgeting with her cup. Mark sat beside me for support, his presence keeping me grounded as Zoe began to speak. I should have told you months ago, she said, voice barely above a whisper. But Isla, she has a way of making everything sound reasonable. Tell me everything, I said. It started like with Richard, her ex-fiancé. She met Trevor at the gym, started staying late for special training sessions. Then came the gifts, the secret meetings. Zoe paused. She used the same excuses, the same patterns. Mark leaned forward. What happened with Richard? She cleaned out their joint accounts 2 days before the wedding. Said she needed to find herself. Sound familiar? My coffee went cold as Zoe detailed a history of manipulation I'd been too blind to see. After she left, Mark pulled out his laptop. Look at this, he said, pulling up Trevor's social media history. Every gym he's worked at, there's a pattern. Wealthy married women, sudden divorces, then he moves to a new location. A predator, I muttered. A team of predators, Mark corrected. Look who likes every single post. There was Isla, her digital fingerprints on Trevor's posts going back over a year, long before she claimed they'd met. My phone buzzed. Elena. Need you in my office. Now. 20 minutes later, I stared at bank statements spread across Elena's desk. She'd hired a forensic accountant who'd traced a complex web of transfers. She's been siphoning money from your joint account, Elena explained, highlighting numbers. Small amounts at first, then larger transfers disguised as charity donations. The accountant, a serious woman named Rachel, pointed to a separate account statement. This is the destination account. Opened 6 months ago. Joint holders, Isla Montgomery and Trevor Dean. My hands shook as I read the balance. $247,000. My money? I asked. Rachel nodded. Mostly, some from the charity too. They called it their vacation fund. Elena placed a hand on my shoulder. There's more. The home office footage? She turned her laptop toward me. Security camera footage played silently. Isla in my office at 2 a.m. going through my files. Another clip, her photographing documents with her phone. A third, Trevor there with her, both laughing as they accessed my computer. When? My voice cracked. Last month, while you were at that architecture conference in Seattle. Mark, who'd followed me to Elena's office, swore under his breath. The bastards were planning something. Elena nodded grimly. They were gathering information about your assets, your projects, probably planning to use it as leverage. My phone lit up again. Isla, baby, please, I know you're hurt, but let's talk. I'll explain everything. This time I responded, like you explained things to Richard? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, who told you about Richard? The truth has a way of coming out, like the $250,000 in your secret account with Trevor. No response. Elena started gathering the documents. We have enough for criminal charges if you want to pursue that route. Fraud, theft, corporate espionage. No, I said, standing up. I want something better than revenge. I want justice. What are you thinking? Mark asked. I looked at Elena. Can you set up a meeting? Somewhere public? Somewhere she'll feel safe enough to talk? You want to face her? I want to let her talk. Let her lie. Let her try to explain it all away. I smiled coldly. And then I want to watch her face when she realizes exactly what we know. Elena nodded, understanding dawning in her eyes. I know just the place. Sometimes the best revenge isn't served cold, it's served with witnesses. Elena's strategy meeting felt more like planning a military operation. She stood at a whiteboard in her office, mapping out our next moves while Mark and I watched from her leather couch. First, she said, circling assets in red marker, we shut down everything. Joint accounts, credit cards, building access codes. I've already filed emergency motions to freeze the charity accounts. What about the vacation fund? I asked. Already frozen. Trevor tried to withdraw this morning. His face at the bank was memorable. Mark showed me a security camera still on his phone. Trevor, red-faced, arguing with a teller. A knock at the door interrupted us. My father, Donald, walked in. The last person I expected to see. Dad? He looked older than I remembered, but his eyes were sharp as ever. Elena called, said you needed backup. I thought, after everything? He cut me off. Family property, family pride. Some things matter more than old arguments. Elena smiled. Donald's testimony about the beach house ownership will be crucial. Plus, he has some interesting information about Trevor. My father nodded grimly. That punk tried to pull similar stunts at my friend's country club last year. Different name then. We've got witnesses. My phone buzzed. Isla's voicemail played on speaker. Sergio, please, you have it all wrong. Let's talk. I miss you. I love you. Trevor means nothing. Play it again, Elena said, recording it. Every contact becomes evidence now. Mark's laptop pinged. Got it. Trevor's real estate records. Look familiar? The screen showed apartment leases all near wealthy neighborhoods, all broken after a few months. A pattern of moving on after each conquest. He's a professional, my father growled. Preys on married women, bleeds them dry, moves on. Not this time, Elena said, adding to her whiteboard. We're setting up cameras in your house, Sergio. If they try to retrieve anything... Already done. Mark interrupted. Motion sensors, live feed to my phone. They won't sneeze without us knowing. My father stepped closer to the whiteboard. The beach house. You'll need better security there, too. Already handled, I said. New locks, new codes, new cameras. Plus, I've got something special planned. Elena raised an eyebrow. Special? I'm renovating. Complete overhaul. Every memory they made there, I'm erasing. New floors, new furniture, new everything. Good, my father said softly. Make it yours again. Elena's phone buzzed. Interesting. Trevor just tried accessing the gym's client files. Looking for his next target, probably. Or destroying evidence, Mark added. Too late. Elena smiled. I already subpoenaed those records. 5 complaints from wealthy clients in the past year alone. All married women. My father put a hand on my shoulder, the first time he'd touched me in years. You're doing this right, son. Clean, legal, thorough. I learned from the best, I said, meeting his eyes. You always said revenge is a dish best served through lawyers? He actually laughed at that. Elena's printer hummed to life. Final paperwork's ready. Property claims, financial records, evidence of fraud. Tomorrow we let them talk. Then we bury them, Mark finished. My phone lit up again. This time a text from Trevor. Man to man, let's work this out. Isla's a mess. She needs you. I showed it to Elena, who immediately added it to her evidence file. Perfect. Keep them talking. Every message is another nail. Speaking of nails, my father said, what about that construction company you mentioned? For the beach house? I pulled out my phone, showed him the plans I'd been drafting. His eyes widened with approval. Now that, he said, is how you reclaim what's yours. Elena started packing up files. Get some rest, everyone. Tomorrow we let them talk themselves into a corner. As we left her office, my father held back a moment. Son? Yeah? I'm proud of you. Handling this with dignity instead of rage. I smiled. Oh, I'm still angry. I'm just going to be smart about it. The rooftop bar was Elena's idea. Neutral territory, she'd said. Public enough to keep everyone civil. Private enough for what needs to be done. I arrived early, settling at a corner table with a clear view of both exits. Mark sat at the bar pretending to watch a game. Two of Elena's associates occupied tables nearby, phones ready to record. Isla arrived exactly on time, wearing the black dress I'd bought her for our last anniversary. Her eyes were red-rimmed, makeup carefully applied to hide recent crying. Sergio, she whispered, sliding into the seat across from me. Thank you for meeting me. I said nothing, just gestured to the waiting server. Scotch, neat. She'll have a gin and tonic. Her favorite drink. She flinched at how well I knew her. I know I hurt you, she began. But you have to understand, I was lost, confused. You were always working late, always focused on your projects. Like the night of the charity gala? I kept my voice neutral. I was sick that night. I slid my phone across the table, showing her the gym photo. Sick at the gym with Trevor? She paled. That's not what it looks like. Nothing ever is with you, is it? I pulled out a folder. Like, these aren't what they look like either? Bank statements, transfer records, photos from my office security cameras. I can explain, she stammered. The money, it was for the charity. Trevor was helping with wellness programs. Really? Let's ask Trevor about that. I pressed play on my phone. Trevor's voice filled the space between us. Rich wives are the best marks. They're so desperate for attention, they'll believe anything. This one's loaded too. Architect husband, beach house, the works. Once she signs everything over, we're done. On to the next one. The recording was from a conversation he'd had yesterday with his gym buddy. Mark had paid the buddy well for the setup. Isla's hands shook. He said that? When? Yesterday, right after trying to withdraw money from your secret account. I leaned forward. Did you really think he loved you? Tears streaked her makeup. Sergio, please, we can fix this. I'll do anything. Like you fixed things with Richard? She froze. Who told you? Everyone's talking, Isla. Your past, your patterns, your plans, it's all coming out. What do you want? Her voice cracked. Money? I'll pay everything back. I pulled out another folder, thicker this time. You'll pay back more than that. She opened it. Police reports about Trevor's past victims, bank records showing her transfers, screenshots of her accessing my private files. The DA's very interested in charity fraud, I said quietly. But I'm willing to keep this civil, if what? Hope flickered in her eyes. You sign everything. The house, the accounts, a full confession about the money. Walk away with what you came into this marriage with, nothing more. And if I don't? I stood up, dropping a final photo on the table. Her and Trevor in my office, photographing confidential documents. Then corporate espionage charges are just the beginning. Mark appeared beside me, right on cue. Everything's ready at the courthouse, Sergio. Isla's mascara ran as she reached for the papers with trembling hands. I never meant... Save it, I said. Just sign. She did, each signature more shaky than the last. I gathered the papers, leaving her sobbing quietly at the table. As I reached the exit, she called out, Was any of it real? I turned back. I loved you completely. That was real? Your response to that love? That was the lie. The rooftop door closed behind me, leaving her alone with her choices. In my pocket, my phone buzzed with a text from Elena. Papers received. It's done. Sometimes the cleanest victories are won with paperwork, not passion. The courthouse hallway felt colder than usual. Elena stood beside me, reviewing last-minute documents while Mark paced nervously. My father sat stoically on a nearby bench, his presence adding weight to what was about to unfold. Isla arrived with her lawyer, a young hotshot who looked far too confident. No sign of Trevor. "Where's your boyfriend?" I asked quietly as she passed. Her lawyer stepped forward. "My client isn't answering questions outside the courtroom." Elena smiled. "That's fine. We have plenty of questions for inside." The bailiff called us in. Judge Martinez, known for her no-nonsense approach to divorce cases, barely looked up as we entered. "Before we begin," Isla's lawyer announced, "my client wishes to contest the prenuptial agreement on grounds of emotional duress." Elena stepped forward. "Your Honor, before that motion is heard, we have evidence of extensive financial fraud and corporate espionage." The judge raised an eyebrow. "Proceed." What happened next was like watching a masterfully choreographed dance. Elena presented document after document, witness after witness, bank records, security footage, Zoe's testimony about past patterns, the gym's formal complaint about Trevor's predatory behavior. Isla's face crumbled as her carefully constructed world collapsed. "And where is Mr. Dean today?" Judge Martinez asked. Right on cue, the courtroom doors opened. A police detective entered, followed by Mark. "Your Honor," the detective said, "Mr. Dean was arrested this morning attempting to leave the country. We found this in his possession." He held up a USB drive. My heart raced. Elena's trap had worked perfectly. "That drive contains stolen architectural plans from my client's firm," Elena explained, "worth millions in potential contracts." Isla's lawyer stood up. "Your Honor, my client had no knowledge." "Really?" Elena produced a final piece of evidence. Security footage of Isla and Trevor in my office, copying files. Timestamp shows this was 3 days ago. The judge's expression hardened. "Counselor, your client appears to have committed several federal crimes. I suggest you reconsider your strategy." Isla broke down. "Trevor said we could start over. He said the plans would set us up for life." "Like you started over after Richard?" My father's voice carried across the courtroom. "Or after the other men before my son." The judge shuffled through the evidence. "Given the overwhelming documentation of fraud, theft, and corporate espionage, I'm denying any motion to contest the prenuptial agreement. Furthermore," she listed her decisions rapid fire. "All assets returned to me. The beach house formally recorded in my name only. Isla responsible for repaying the stolen funds with interest. No alimony, no claims to my business or future earnings. And regarding the criminal matters," Judge Martinez concluded, "I'm referring this case to the district attorney's office." Isla's lawyer quickly requested a recess to discuss options with his client. The judge agreed to 15 minutes. In the hallway, Elena touched my arm. "There's one more thing you should see." She handed me her tablet. A news article showed Trevor in handcuffs. "Personal trainer arrested in multi-state fraud scheme." Below it, quotes from other victims, all wealthy women he'd seduced and scammed. "He rolled on her," Mark whispered, "told police everything to save himself." When court resumed, Isla's lawyer announced they would accept all terms. She sat there, broken and alone, as the judge finalized everything. As we left the courthouse, my father gripped my shoulder. "You did good, son. Kept your dignity while serving justice." Elena gathered her files. "The DA will contact you next week about pressing charges." "No need," I said. "This is enough." I watched Isla leave alone, mascara streaked, no Trevor to console her. No money to start over with. No more victims in her future. Sometimes the best revenge is simply letting justice take its course. The ocean breeze carried away the last traces of sawdust as I inspected the beach house renovations. New hardwood floors gleamed in the morning light, replacing every board Isla and Trevor had walked on. Fresh paint covered the walls, erasing their memories with each stroke. Mark whistled as he walked through the front door. "Place looks completely different." That's the point. I handed him a coffee from the new espresso machine. Dad's coming by later to see the changes. Speaking of changes, Mark pulled out his phone. Saw this morning. A local news article showed Trevor in court, pleading guilty to multiple fraud charges. The photo below it showed Isla leaving the courthouse. No designer clothes, no makeup, looking every bit the accomplished she was. Elena says they're both facing serious time, Mark said. The DA found 7 other victims. The new kitchen island, granite, like my father suggested, felt solid under my hands. Any word on the stolen money? Most of it's been recovered. The charity board is pressing charges too. My phone buzzed. A text from Zoe. Thought you should know, Isla's trying to get her old receptionist job back. No one will hire her after the fraud charges hit the news. Karma, Mark muttered, reading over my shoulder. The doorbell rang. My father stood there with Elena, both carrying bottles of champagne. Thought we should christen the new place properly, Dad said, looking around appreciatively. You've done good work here, son. Elena set the bottles on the island. Just got word. Trevor took a plea deal. He's testifying against Isla about the corporate espionage. Of course he is, I said. He never really cared about her. Speaking of caring, Elena pulled out a folder. The architectural plans they tried to steal? The review board loved your presentation. You got the contract. My father beamed. The downtown renovation project? That's huge. It is, I agreed, and I'm doing it my way this time. Mark started opening champagne. To new beginnings? To justice, Elena corrected, accepting a glass. My father walked to the new floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the ocean. You know, I was worried when you said you were renovating. Thought you might erase too much history. Not erasing, I said, joining him. Just rebuilding, better than before. Like yourself, Elena added softly. The waves crashed against the shore as we stood there, drinking champagne in my reclaimed space. My phone buzzed one last time, an unknown number. Sergio, Isla's voice cracked. I'm sorry for everything. I let the silence stretch. The DA offered me a deal, she continued. I'm taking it. You'll never hear from me again. Goodbye, Ela. I hung up, blocked the number. Elena raised her glass. To closing chapters. And opening new ones, my father added. Mark grinned. To friends who send warning photos. We laughed, the sound echoing off new walls that held no painful memories. Outside, the ocean continued its eternal rhythm, washing away the old, bringing in the new. Just like the beach house, I hadn't been destroyed by betrayal. I'd been renovated by it. Stronger foundations, better boundaries, clearer vision. So, Elena said, refilling glasses, tell us about this downtown project. As I outlined my plans, surrounded by people who'd stood by me through everything, I realized something. Isla had gone on her retreat to find herself. Ironically, in losing her, I'd found myself instead. The setting sun painted the ocean gold through my new windows, and for the first time in ages, the future looked brighter than the past.